comments as they come in.
All right, we are live, so you should be able to pull it up here in a second.
Okay.
So you're going to be on one of the workshops tomorrow. Actually, let's do the quick intro here. So, what's going
Okay.
on, everybody? We got Brad Hudson on with us. You might have seen him earlier on the panel that we did this morning, which was a lot of fun. And definitely gave us some great insight as to what you guys are doing. But for those of you who missed it, I'll have Brad do a little introduction here. Brad, you want to tell us a little bit about yourself, your history with
Sure.
artwork, and maybe the first set that you worked on?
Sure. So Brad Hudson. First set I worked on was Chrome Perspectives in 2015. I'm an artist, trained as a fine artist. I got my MFA in printmaking from University of Maryland College Park. I work at the University of Maryland Eastern Shore as an art instructor. Run a sequential arts program there, a comic book program there. And so I started in 2015 with Tops. Mark Von Olen met me in Philly at a Wizard World. And at that time, I was doing some artist trading cards, just a blank, what you guys would call personal sketch cards. And I was just doing those to sell at cons. And they were just fun to do, and they were easy and fast, and I could carry them with me. And so I was selling those at cons, and he liked them a lot. He was there not for work, but just for fun. It was a big con, so it was like, I think the Avengers were there, like some of the actors, like Chris Hemsworth and things like that. So he was there for fun, and so he just saw my booth, and he came by and said hi, and hired me. Now, I didn't know who he was. I didn't know what sketch cards were, quite honestly, at that point. I hadn't bought trading cards since I was a teenager, probably. I bought some, like everybody else, I bought Star Wars trading cards. I bought Marvel trading cards when I was a teenager and younger than that. So, but I hadn't bought cards in years. And so, I had no idea what a sketch card was when I was buying cards when I was in the late 80s, 90s. I don't think it was a thing. It was certainly not a thing that I was aware of. And so he came by the booth and said, "Hey, I think he was a brand manager for non-sports cards at Topps at the time." And he was like, "I like your work. I'd like to hire you." He was like, "I'm here for personal reasons today, so I don't have any business cards." I just, honestly, in the back of my mind, I thought he was just another kook at a con. And so I was like, "Okay, that's cool." And he was like, "So I'll send you an email before the night's over and get my art director to talk to you." And he was like, "Do you know anything about Star Wars?" And I, again, thought, this is the craziest thing I've ever heard in my life. And I was like, "Sure, I know something about Star Wars. I've been a Star Wars fan since the beginning." So the whole thing was very surreal. And so eventually that evening, I did get an email from the AD at that time, which I don't remember who it was. Could have been Jeremy or something like that at Topps. And they hired me to do Chrome Perspectives. I did 100 that first set. I did 100. And then the next set I did was Journey to the Force Awakens. And I did 100 for that set as well. And then I think the next set probably was High Tech. And I think I've done almost every set since then. I might have missed one or two here or there, Star Wars sets. But, in addition to doing that, I do whatever comes my way. And I teach full time. So I do a lot of stuff. And like I said earlier in the panel, I've done almost, if you count the sets that I'm working on now, I've done over 8,000 cards. So that's not just Star Wars. But it's mostly Star Wars. Star Wars is certainly the biggest number that I got going on.
Yeah, that's a lot. That's really impressive. And to have started so long ago, I think you said Chrome Perspectives was like 2015 or something,
Yeah.
and to maybe have only missed one or two sets since. is certainly really, really impressive. JP had just joined in. He said, "Hey, thanks for being here, Brad." He actually recently got an Obi-Wan sketch of yours from one of the breaks that we did. Jot Jot said as a follow-up to earlier, he actually went through and counted how many cards of yours he has. So
Yeah.
he said he's got 32 right now, and he has, ask him again in a year, he's certain that number is going to be much, much higher. But sorry, Jay, you've only got 32 out of 8,000, so you've got
Yeah, you
quite a
got to
ways to
step it up.
go.
No, I
So,
honestly, I was really surprised by that number myself. I figured it had to be around 3 or 4 thousand, um, because I figured I've been doing it 5 years. I've done at least 1,000 a year, so I was thinking around 4 or 5 thousand. But when I totaled it all up, it was like 7,900 and some cards. So it's really crazy. I've done Upper Deck. I do Upper Deck stuff. I do some
mhm.
Dynamite stuff. Um, I'm trying to get into Star Trek. I'm supposed to submit some samples to them for that because I really like Star Trek as well. I know that's a bad word on this page, but so but I mean I do a bunch of different companies, but Star Wars is certainly the top license that I'm working on in terms of numbers. I did a bunch of Walking Dead for them, Stranger Things, stuff like that. Anything that's come my way from tops, I've done it in the last 5 years.
Let me ask you something. You said that you were going to, like, the way that you kind of got into it was Mark Van Olen. Van Olen reached
Uh huh.
out to you when he ran into you. Did you? Because I would imagine at the time you were drawing on unlicensed stock and everything. Did you get in trouble for that?
No, no,
No?
no,
Okay.
no. Cons. We've at cons we've been threatened for years about that sort of stuff, and none of it's ever really come true. As long as you're not doing anything huge, they're not going to smack you with a cease and desist order.
Hmm.
If you start doing some, huge runs on your prints or start making T-shirts and doing stuff like that, they're going to hit you with a cease and desist order for doing
Hmm.
non-licensed work. But otherwise, they don't care too much. Um, and if you went through and got rid of everybody in Artist Alley at a convention that was working on characters that they weren't licensed to work on, it would be pretty empty.
Be
So
everybody,
yeah,
yeah.
so yeah, no, Mark didn't care at all. I didn't have a lot of Star Wars stuff on the table at the time.
Hmm.
Um, so most of my stuff at that time was comics related, superhero related, probably maybe some more, um, maybe a little bit of science fiction, maybe some Doctor Who at the time was popular, but in terms of sketch cards, what I had laying out probably wasn't a lot of Star Wars stuff anyway.
Hmm. George is asking, what's your favorite original comic page that you have on the wall over there?
Ha ha. See, George is trying to get me in trouble because I've actually been contacted randomly by people on Facebook trying to buy my comic book pages, and they've only just seen them in the background of like a post on somebody else's wall. Um, Favorite, I have a John Romita Jr. that I really love. It's a Punisher page, and it's a splash page. It's the front page with that has the title, and it has also the all the publishing information at the back at the bottom that's cut and pasted. Like they don't do it as much in new comics, but they used to always have that block of text at the bottom that had all the publishing copyright information at the bottom. So it's a really sweet John Romita Jr. page. I love that one just because I love John Romita's style, and I love the Punisher. I have a Jim Lee page that's really sweet as well, on my wall. And I try not to talk about it, and I don't show it much because I'm afraid of what it might be worth, because Jim Lee's stuff is so phenomenally expensive right now. Um, it's from X-Men, so it's from that classic run on the new X-Men books that he released in the 90s. I think
Hmm.
92, somewhere around there. And so it's a really sweet page, that's worth a lot of money, I'm sure, right now. I got it in New York at a Comic Con in the 90s. Um, I mean, Jim Lee was huge at the time, but not like he is now. Like he's he's like a god now. But he was still big then, but it was affordable when I bought it at the time. And I think his like cousin was handling his art at the time, so it was
Mm.
pretty cool.
Yeah, that's cool. It's cool to hear too that like you have stuff that you collect. I mean, Jot Jot collects a lot of your cards and many others,
Yeah.
and we all collect sketches in general, and that's cool to hear, what you guys kind of are into as well.
Oh, and,
Um,
and I could easily, since I've been doing this, I could easily get sucked into the trading card thing. I've kind of resisted the urge quite a bit. My collection in my studio is out of this world. I've got, I don't know how many long boxes full of comics. I've got figures and things laying everywhere. So the last thing I need is another thing to collect. But I love, not only do I love doing the sketch cards, I could get suckered into collecting the sketch cards myself. There's a bunch of artists out there that I really love, um, and that I would love to own some cards by them. But I've resisted most urges to buy those. So yeah, I love to collect art. I think it's really important as an artist. If we don't buy art, who's going to buy art? So when I get a chance to buy something and I can afford it, I do it just to, if nothing else, support somebody I like or somebody whose work I like.
Okay, yeah, yeah, absolutely. So we're starting to get a little bit lower on time here, so I definitely want to make sure that we spend some time taking a look at your artwork.
Oh yeah.
Do you have anything that you can show us? I'm going to make you a little bit bigger here.
Okay. So a couple of things I wanted to mention. So I've got a few of these. These are, I believe, they're the actual first Masters work set that I worked on. So that was probably 2000, might have been
That looks
15
like
or
2000.
16.
Yeah.
2016 probably, right? It's got the blue border.
Yeah, I think so. I think so. Jot Jot can probably verify. Um,
Yeah,
I think that's 2016.
I don't think I did them in 2015, but this is the first set that I did them. Um, and what I'm going to do for these, anybody that wants, I have 4 of them that I'm going to sell this weekend. They're going to be hand painted. Now
Oh,
the
it's
reason why,
2017.
2017? This is
Yeah,
2017?
just yeah, on the back you can tell. The back actually gives it away.
Really?
hmm I
2017.
don't know if it says it, but I just
Okay. Just
when
the
you flipped
style
it
of the
over,
back?
I was like, oh, there it is. Yeah, and Kai just verified. Yeah, 2017 Jot Jot.
2017? Okay. Uh, which 20, what's the earliest then that I have? You got me scratching my head now.
I think
Um,
2015 was like black
I
or
have some of
gold or
those as
something.
well. But what I was going to do, these guys, I remember them being particularly hard to draw on. So I'm going to hand paint these. I'm going to do 4 of those. If anybody wants them, I'm going to sell them this weekend for 100 each. So if anybody wants any of those, just comment on the on my booth. But they're the Star Wars Masterworks. I'll put a picture of them in there. Um, but I normally don't paint. So, and when I do, I want to take my time. So, but I want to hand paint these. So if anybody's interested in them, they're 100. Um, they're going to be hand painted. Just give me time. I'll probably ask you to pay not the full upfront, but I'll probably ask you to pay 50% upfront, and I'll do the second half when your card ships. The other thing I thought you could flip through my binder. Now I posted a bunch of these. I'm going to rotate my camera, hopefully, and hopefully people can see these.
Oh
So,
yeah, there we go.
so I posted a bunch of these earlier in the comments on my booth area, but some of them aren't there. And so if anybody's interested in these and they're not pictured, shoot me a message or make a comment, and I can get a scan of it. I'm not lost, but some of my scans are either on my computers at the university, or they're on the computer that just died on me recently.
Do
So
you have a way to turn a landscape?
yeah, what's that? Hold on, yeah, let me see if I can do that.
Oh, perfect. There we go. Now you're taking up the whole screen here. So,
Are we good now?
yeah, as we're kind of flipping through these, so are all of these available?
Yeah, these are all. Well, that's not true because Jot Jot has bought. Um, I believe it's this Han Solo. Um,
Okay.
but the rest of them are available. Now this one, hold on, let me get a close up of that guy. That guy right there, you see him, the stormtrooper?
Mm-hmm.
He's one of my favorites, and I haven't posted him yet because he's one of my favorites. But if I decide to sell him this weekend, I'll post him and put a price with him. But for some reason, I'm really quite emotionally attached to that stormtrooper. Um, but these are all available. So I can't see what I'm showing you. So
Oh, that's fine. Yeah. I was gonna say, uh, I'm just trying to. Yeah. So, anyways, while you're kind of flipping through those, I know we'd all love to see them. We're upside down at the moment.
oh oh,
Uh, Now we're portrait again. Can you flip us back?
I'll see.
Uh, like horizontal. Yeah, the Emphas nest. I remember seeing that picture. That
Yeah,
thing looks crazy good. Some people were
yeah.
asking, while we're kind of flipping through, they said, do you like to draw in color or black and white better, or does it depend on the character? And also, what mediums do you enjoy using the most?
It. I love black and white. I love lime. Oh, these are some of my Walking Dead. I don't know if anybody's interested in those at all. These are some of my Walking Dead cards. I haven't posted any of these because we're a Star Wars club. Just a few upper deck things, some Mars attacks. I don't know if anybody's interested in those. Did those a while back, but no. So I'll flip this back around. So in terms of medium and preference for black and white or color, um, I love black and white. I'm a printmaker. I love line art, and I'm a comic artist. So I love black and white, but I've grown to really love to use color in the last 10 years or so, and I think that's what a lot of people think about my art when they think about it. They think about the colors that I use, which I think is kind of ironic because um, it's something that I've kind of grown into. Um, so in terms of materials, I use the Copics, whatever you want to call them. I use multi-liner SPs, Copic multi-liner SPs for the line art, but it's just out of ease of material. It's just easy to use those, and then color pencil and acrylic ink on top of those. But in terms of medium, I love to use lots of different stuff because I just think it's important that you're versatile as an artist. So I love to paint oil. I love to make prints. I have an MFA in printmaking, and most of my printmaking I do litho. I do relief printmaking. I actually did a relief lino cut of BB-8 for Star Wars Celebration 2017. And I did an edition of like 20 prints, and it sold out. Um, so I love to do a variety of different materials. The Copics I use, I mean, they're a good tool, but I use them just because it facilitates the process and lets me get things done pretty quick.
Okay, cool. Yeah, no, that's really cool. I remember, so I went to Celebration last year, was the first one that I had gone to,
That was
and
in Chicago.
yeah, in Chicago, and uh I remember like thinking, okay, I really want to get something to bring home, something to remember it by, something that's going to be, whatever. So, but I went around to all the booths. They all had the same Black Series figures you can get on Amazon or get at
Yeah,
Target, and I found my way to, I think it was the Acme art area or something,
yeah.
and then I found some
Mhm.
other artist booths as well, and I kind of started to notice like, man, these are actually really cool. I only ended up getting prints. I didn't get any originals or anything, but I ended up getting a handful of prints, and that's what I kind of took home. And then I found my way into the card group and found my way to I learned what the sketch cards were, and
Yeah.
it's certainly been enjoyable since. So, but anyways, hey, we're gonna kind of try to wrap this up a little bit here. Again,
No
guys,
problem.
tomorrow, Brad is gonna be on tomorrow with us, starting at, let me figure out the time. It is 3 o'clock Eastern, 7 o'clock GMT, but that's gonna be 8 o'clock UK time, and early in the morning, 5 a.m. For Australia. But he's graciously, offered to give his time and talents tomorrow afternoon, and he's going to be doing some live drawing for us, similar to what we just got done doing half hour ago. And those are going to be given away. So thank you for that in advance, Brad.
Oh yeah.
Thank you for joining
Yeah.
me on this video and for the panel from this morning. It's been great to talk to you and learn about your art. I know Jot's watched every second of it. He said, "Who wants to set up a GoFundMe for him to buy that entire stash that you got over there?" It's been great to talk to you.
Nice talking to you.
Yeah, absolutely. So for anybody who hasn't already done so, I can't imagine you would have missed it by now. But go join the event. It's in the TSWCCT group in the events page or the events tab. Go join the event for the virtual con. All the posts there are for the artists. They've all got their own individual, we're calling them booths, and that's all that's going to be there. So it's going to be very, very easy to find them. Go check them out. Support them in any way that you can, whether it's a print, a commission, an original piece, or even just, sharing along your kind words and appreciation for their artwork. So go ahead and go do that. If you do buy anything from Brad or any of the other artists, they're all keeping track of what a number of items that you guys are purchasing, and you'll be entered to win a number of giveaways on the 4th. Again, thank you so much for joining me, Brad.
Yeah.
Did you have anything else you wanted to add to or say
No,
to
thank you
anybody
for
out
having
there?
this. I was listening to the last one you did, the last workshop you did, and I think the I want to just echo what the guys said in the workshop. Just thanks for having this. It's a lot of fun. We're making a little money, and I think it's just a lot of fun. I think we all need a bit of a diversion right now. And I know we're not doing any cons this summer. I'm not thinking we're going to do any cons in the fall. So it's certainly helping us financially, but I think it's also edifying our souls, as we might say, or something like that. It certainly is helping us all get through this time. So thank you guys.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, big shout out to Logan on this one for coming up with the
Yeah, thank
idea,
you, Logan.
and the admins approved it right away, and we all started brainstorming. I'm not an admin, but they let me be a part of it, so thanks to them for everything they've done so far on it too. So yeah, it's been great, and I think the other thing is too, yeah, you guys are able to make a few sales, and we're able to pick up some awesome pieces, but it's been great to connect with you guys as well. That's the thing I
Yeah,
love about this group,
yeah.
is that we can connect
And,
to the
and
artists.
as everyone said already, this is a really friendly group. I've been on some groups on Facebook that aren't very friendly. You guys are everybody's really nice. Everybody's really supportive, and it's just nice to be able to talk to people and put a voice to a face, or a voice to a username on Facebook. So it's really cool.
Hmm. Yeah, absolutely. So, anyways, guys, up next we're gonna have Laura Atkinson, all the way from the UK. So she's gonna be joining me here in a few minutes. We're gonna get the technology working. Thanks again, Brad,
Yep.
and I'll see you guys all again in a couple minutes.
See you guys.